What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for stopping by the channel today. I got a little bit of extra for you. It is October 8th, 2021. I am JD from New York, and this is Off the Script. Make sure you guys follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That's Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. If you guys want to go check out all the other videos and content on the channel, we got Monday Night Raw, NXT, AEW. Yesterday we did an extra on Braun Strowman. All of that stuff is on the homepage right now. Go and check it out. And today's show is once again sponsored by my great friends over at Audible. audibletrial.com/script. You guys are going to get 30 days free of their service and one free audiobook of your choice. I got a follow-up story on Johnny Gargano. Now, we talked yesterday about Johnny Gargano and the fact that he took NXT and all WWE likeness out of his Twitter accounts and his bio on Twitter. There's a follow-up to Johnny Gargano's status with NXT 2.0. And according to Wrestling Observer Newsletter, Johnny Gargano is still slated to take part in NXT 2.0 angles in the upcoming weeks. There is apparently not much concern regarding his next move because nobody has been alerted that a change is on the way. Now, I don't think that Johnny Gargano would tell anybody what he's doing because that's his own business. If Johnny Gargano wants to re-sign with the company, he'd probably raise awareness of it. WWE clearly knows that Johnny Gargano's contract is up. It is in their court for them to reach out to him. Hey, listen, man, we value you. You've been the heart and soul of this place for the last 5 years. We want you to stay with the company. We got big plans for you. We need you to build around you in getting everybody over. We want you. We need you. Why would Johnny Gargano go out there and ask WWE for all of this when he doesn't really need them anymore? Johnny Gargano doesn't need WWE. WWE clearly doesn't want Johnny Gargano. Do they need Johnny Gargano? I wouldn't say it's a by-need basis for WWE. But after you let Adam Cole walk away, after you let Ruby Riott walk away, after you're going to let Kevin Owens and Ricochet and Keith Lee and Sami Zayn and God knows who else walk away, why do you want to keep giving all of this prime talent that is still in the prime of their career, why do you want to give this talent to other promotions? Why do you want to give this talent to other promotions to pretty much clarify even more so that you guys are a creative failure in the pro wrestling industry? I would not let Johnny Gargano walk. This is all on WWE. Johnny Gargano is not going to really be concerned about his next move and bring that awareness to WWE. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. There is nothing at all to that right now in the sense he's with NXT and he's got stuff written in for future shows, and nobody internally has been alerted that anything has changed with his status, but his current contract does expire on December 3rd. The right hand usually doesn't know what the left hand is doing in WWE, so none of this really makes any sense for Johnny Gargano coming out of the Observer. He's got stuff written for him in future shows, so what does that mean? How many people have had stuff written for them for future episodes of the show and then were not used, or they were ignored, or they were put on the back burner? Plans change. With Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard running NXT, plans constantly change. On night one, scripts were written up or ripped up. They were written and ripped up. So it's the same thing. Whatever happens on Raw is now happening on Tuesday night. It's Tuesday Night Raw on NXT 2.0. Johnny Gargano, in my honest opinion, is gone. I don't think he's going to stay with the WWE. He knows he's not needed. He knows that whatever he is as a professional wrestler is not going to fit into the mold of what they're doing on NXT 2.0. Johnny Gargano's already teasing that he may jump ship. Who knows where he goes? But I know this. Whoever gets a Johnny Gargano at this stage of his career, whether you like him or not, he's too vanilla. He's got no personality. He's got no charisma. Give me a break. Johnny Gargano is one of the best professional wrestlers in the world. Any company that gets Johnny Gargano is going to be lucky to have him on their roster. I think he jumped ship. And to me, this follow-up doesn't really make any sense. WWE should be the ones reaching out to Johnny Gargano with 2 months left to go before his contract does expire with the company. Give me a break. Women of wrestling. This is the biggest talking point of the week for sure. Women of Wrestling has now relaunched. We have April Mendez, AJ Lee, CM Punk's wife, as you guys know her, and Tessa Blanchard as the two primary faces of the company. Tessa is going to be an active competitor in the company. And AJ is going to be more of an executive producer. She may do some commentary work. She may be a part of creative. We don't know really what her goal is or what her, I guess, title is there. She may be a jack of all trades type of individual with Women of Wrestling. But this came on Wednesday night, and the internet started blowing up, and it's even worse now than it was on Wednesday. They may end up killing their own promotion before it even relaunches in 2022 with their latest Tessa Blanchard stunt. Now, Tessa Blanchard, like I just mentioned, is back in wrestling with Women of Wrestling. And this is not only a surprise, but it's already creating waves, and not good ones, in the world of professional wrestling. A recent report stated that she is nuclear when it comes to AEW, NXT, and most indie promoters, that they will not touch her because of all of the evidence that she has in regards to what she did in the past. Seems like Tessa Blanchard is now cashing in on that rumor. Blanchard dropped some new merchandise to borrow from Cassidy Haynes of Bodyslam.net's original report about how she's perceived. The new shirt simply says nuclear. And Tessa Blanchard has her logo on the shirt as well. It's like a nuclear bomb with the diamond that she usually has for her logo coming up out of the nuclear smoke. And it says nuclear on the bottom of the shirt. Now, I don't really understand why this needs to be a thing. We'll have to wait for Women of Wrestling and what they do with the reboot and how they position Tessa Blanchard on the show. I don't want to sit here and write the company off before it even relaunches, because we don't know what they're going to be doing and how they're going to really portray Tessa Blanchard. In the meantime, I don't think they're bringing themselves the right awareness with this latest stunt with Tessa Blanchard. You're going to kill your promotion before you even get it up off the ground. And this is a relaunch. Everybody wants their fair share of women's wrestling. Tessa Blanchard is one of the greatest female athletes in the world of professional wrestling. She may be in the top 5 if you really want to just base this on in-ring and what women can do in the ring. She's definitely in the top 5. I don't understand why anybody would be interested in A, buying this shirt, because it has absolutely no good backstory to it whatsoever. And B, if you already hate Tessa Blanchard and don't give a shit about Tessa Blanchard going into this thing after what she said, you're definitely not going to pay the company any attention after this latest stunt and this t-shirt release. I don't really understand why Women of Wrestling would be backing something like this. You sign this person to your company, and then this is the stunt that you go and do and promote. A fucking t-shirt that's playing off the nuclear heat that she has. It would be one thing if Tessa Blanchard was still in the business and playing a heel role, and the nuclear heat was justified on what she is to the world of professional wrestling based on her character work. This is not nuclear heat in a good sense. This is nuclear heat because she said racist things. This is nuclear heat because she failed to apologize for the wrongdoings to several women in the industry that have a problem with her. Now, I'm all for forgiving. I'm all for giving people second chances. But the thing is, and this is what nobody's really understanding, I want to see her wrestle. I want to see her flourish. I want to see her move on from this and have people forgive her for her past mistakes. Now, it's completely up to you if you're going to forgive her or not. That is your opinion. But there may be people out there that look at this situation a little bit differently if she did the one thing that she should have done 2 years ago. If she came out and publicly apologized to everybody for everything that she did 2 years ago, the healing process would have already begun. Or at least right now, it would be in a stage where people would look at her and say, you know what? Instead of fucking hating this woman for ignoring everything and then putting out the t-shirt and hating her even more, people would have probably, I'm not saying everybody, but some people probably would have looked at her and said, you know what? She owned up to her mistakes. She apologized. And she's trying to be a better person for it. I want to see her make a living. I want to see her use her God-given talent and entertain everybody. She is at least trying. And on my behalf, I can at least try and maybe forgive her. And I would be open to giving this woman a second chance. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. She ignored everything. She went about going away and making herself invisible, living in Mexico, getting married, and then she thinks, with all of this happening still with her, that going away is going to fix everything. It's not going to fix anything. Now you're back, and now you're throwing it in people's faces with this fucking t-shirt? Is that what you think of your fan base? Is that what you think women of wrestling needs right now? And if you're women of wrestling, how the fuck are you supporting this? This is what you think of the fans? How do you think this is a good idea to get people interested in your show with this woman leading the charge as the face of the company and then releasing a t-shirt like that, ultimately slapping the fans in the face? I don't really get the marketing scheme behind this. How do we fuck up a company before we even relaunch 101 with women of wrestling? Now, I'm interested in seeing what they do. I want to give the woman a second chance. I do. I really do. But that latest stunt with the t-shirt, I don't know who's going to look at that and say, you know what, I'm going to go out and watch and support and maybe see if she's a different person. She hasn't said anything on a personal level. All she's doing is showing us that she doesn't give a shit about the nuclear heat, the legit nuclear heat, for real life reasons that she has. All she needed to do was come out and apologize. And this would be a lot better now than it was then. Now, somehow, you've made it worse. And you keep adding on to this nuclear heat that you have. You know, the good nuclear heat that I always kind of attribute to pro wrestling and pro wrestlers on how to be a good heel. The nuclear heat that I wish she had was the Tommaso Ciampa nuclear heat he had when he was in his feud with Johnny Gargano winning the NXT Championship. That's good nuclear heat. This nuclear heat, I don't see how women of wrestling have a successful relaunch with her as the face of the company and stunts like this happening. Who the fuck is going to go buy that t-shirt? She has fans out there that will, but the majority of the fans that want to see good women's wrestling will not watch your show because she's affiliated with it. I don't know, man. Sounds like a dumb move to me. We'll see what happens. Any more stunts like this, you're going to continue to deteriorate your already fucking low fan base. I don't believe it. It's not the way you build a company. TBS Women's Championship. Might as well keep with the women's theme. When will AEW crown a new TBS Women's Champion? I mentioned this on Wednesday with Jesse. This was only the way I would do it type of situation. But I figured the tournament would happen in December. We all know AEW Dynamite is moving to TBS in January of 22. And I figured on that January 5th debut episode, I think the finals would happen on that, and the tournament would be building up in December for a final on that first show on TBS, and that is exactly what it is going to be. One fan asked Aubrey Edwards on social media, I believe, about the unveiling of the TNT, or the TBS rather, championship. It is a sister championship to the TNT title. The TBS title unveiling on Dynamite. This Instagram post received a slew of reaction from fans and people in the industry as they expressed excitement about this new championship title in AEW. One fan asked Aubrey when the new TBS championship tournament will start. The finals will take place on Dynamite's TBS debut in January, so they still have a couple of months to get the tournament together. She says, and I quote, "The finals of the tournament are on January 5th, so the tournament is happening over the next 2 months," end quote. Now, all we need is a field of competitors. How many women are going to be in this thing? I'm assuming Tony Khan is not going to keep it to 8. I think he may extend it to 16, possibly 32. Give everybody an opportunity to get their hands on the TBS championship. But I was correct And we were correct on Wednesday night when Jesse and I talked about this. January 5th, the finals of the TBS Championship Tournament to crown a new TBS Women's Champion. And I love tournaments, man. Hopefully it goes off very, very good. And then we have this and the Owen Hart Cup coming in 2022 as well for AEW. So lots of tournaments going on. We got the King of the Ring tonight starting. We got the Queen's Crown tournament starting tonight. Hopefully WWE actually attacks that with some effort. I can hope, or one can only hope, so we'll see what happens with that. But January 5th, new TBS champion will be crowned in AEW. A Twitch data leak reveals how much former WWE stars are making on the platform. When I read these numbers, you will know why WWE wanted their hands on some of these particular Twitch accounts. The leaked figures were posted anonymously on 4chan and have been seen and confirmed by a number of streamers who admit the numbers match up to their own. This data leak revealed wrestlers such as Adam Cole, Paige, and Zelina Vega and the earnings that they made over a 2-year period on Twitch. This is coming from Wrestling Inc. from September 2019 through September 2021. It should be noted that the data includes payouts from subscribers and Twitch bit system. The payout data does not include donations, which is a significant source of revenue for most Twitch streamers or online streamers. It's been estimated that subscriptions amount between 30 and 60% of a streamer's income, with most of their revenue coming from direct donations. Adam Cole, his figure for the last 2 years, $318,000. Colt Cabana, $32,479. Evil Uno, $35,742. Impact Wrestling made $69,140. Paige made $478,224 off of Twitch bits and subscriptions to her channel. Monthly subscriptions. This does not include donations like PayPal or Streamlabs donations. It doesn't include that. That's a lot of fucking money. So now you know why WWE wanted to get their hands on what these people were doing. Some of these people are making more on Twitch than they were actually contracted to the WWE, which is the case with Zelina Vega. I know for a fact she's making more money on Twitch. $341,748. That is incredible. WWE wanted to close this down. Why? In the middle of a pandemic when no merchandise sales were happening, when they weren't live touring, and nobody here had any extra income coming in because of the pandemic, WWE wanted to shut this shit down in the middle of a pandemic. It's unbelievable. Xavier Woods, $25,431. Tyler Breeze, $43,755. It's a lot of fucking money, man. It's a lot of money. So if you guys are on Twitch, I do think that they emailed everybody a new stream key. So I think you're going to need to enter a new stream key every time you stream, and they urge you to change your passwords as well. So that is the latest with the Twitch data leak. Don't know how this happened, but I'm not going to ask questions. That is a lot of money. And like I said, now you know why WWE wanted its contracted stars either to close their shit down while still employed, or they wanted to actively control everything that went on with everybody in the company that wanted to stream under one big umbrella. Very, very interesting stuff there. Hit Row, Death Row, as I call them, in 2 weeks when they make their debut on SmackDown. Hit Row, Isaiah Swerve Scott, still a big fan of his, even though he blocked me on social media. Ashante Adonis, $0. He'll always be $0 to me until he apologizes. And B-Fab was moved from NXT to the main roster in this year's draft, as the group will now be featured on Friday nights on SmackDown. Dave Meltzer reported in the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter that the decision to call Hit Row to the main roster was made days earlier before the draft. How many days earlier, we don't know. If I am making a logical guess, probably on Wednesday, with the draft happening on Friday. However, it was said nobody in NXT knew the stable was on their way out until WWE publicly announced it on Friday Night SmackDown. So let me get this straight. Nobody in NXT, this is a complete deviation away from what Triple H did. Every time somebody was called up from NXT to the main roster, you knew based on a crowd reaction, whether the crowd was saying, thank you, so-and-so, thank you, Ricochet, or thank you, Alistair. I remember when those guys got called up, you just knew when they lost that tag team finals to the Viking Raiders. You knew when, someone like Sami Zayn was getting called up after his loss to Shinsuke Nakamura. You knew when somebody like Bobby Roode was getting called up. You knew when somebody like Balor was getting called up and Samoa Joe was getting called up. You just know. You watch the show on a weekly basis, you just know, you feel it, that their time is done there. But Triple H, always, he would post something on social media. You'd know something as far as what you see on social media. You'd hear the rumblings from backstage reports. We didn't hear anything about Hit Row being called up. Everybody usually is in the know backstage because they're all happy for their fellow colleagues to move on to something bigger. Make more money, get more spotlight on them, hone their craft more on the main roster, maybe, if Bruce and Vince don't sink their claws into you. But nobody knew that Hit Row was going to the main roster. So does that mean that they weren't ready for the main roster? Yes, they weren't ready. They weren't ready. Even now, Legado del Fantasma, Santos Escobar, has been quoted saying that he thinks Legado del Fantasma is absolutely ready for the main roster, which is one of the main points I brought up on Friday when I talked about this last week. Hit Row is not ready for the main roster. The people that they're actually feuding with are ready for the main roster. Why didn't you have Swerve beat Escobar and have Legado del Fantasma drafted to the main roster? Oh, but that doesn't fit your political agenda, right? WWE is so uncool and so unhip, and you guys want that youthful audience. You guys think that Hit Row is going to bring in a different audience to SmackDown. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Instead of doing for a political reason and doing a disservice to the talent that clearly is not ready, why don't you bring up somebody that is ready? Because I thought all these years WWE and Vince McMahon wanted to really get their claws into that Spanish audience. Legado del Fantasma is perfect for that. And they got ready-made feuds waiting for them. If you want to put him in an IC title feud with Shinsuke Nakamura, if you guys want to put him in a feud with Rey Mysterio, or if the Lucha House Party, or anything on WWE, you could have them feud with the Lucha House Party. Clearly that can't happen now. There were ready-made feuds for Legado del Fantasma that would have made a lot more sense than bringing up fucking Shit Row to the main roster. Because they're on my shit list now. I actually like the group. I have high hopes for the group. I had high hopes for the group in NXT, but I don't think they're ready. So fuck me for being honest. I've been watching this shit for way too long, man. You'd think I'd know a fucking thing or two. So if nobody knew, to me that translates that they weren't ready for the main roster, and WWE clearly pulled them out for some reason that does not benefit Hit Row. That's all I'm saying. The group got over with their promos, which is the only reason why the group got over, which the fans are now concerned with Vince McMahon, who will definitely change things that he saw in NXT when they arrive on the main roster, and they will be given heavily scripted promos. $0 thinks, he claims to say, and he knows that they're going to go unscripted on the main roster. What, for maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month? At best? Wait till Vince McMahon starts getting his claws into you. Because he's the devil. What did he do with Bray Wyatt? Bray Wyatt didn't need to be scripted. Bray Wyatt didn't need any creative direction with his character. Look at what he did with The Fiend. You think Bray Wyatt needed any help to take that to the fucking next level? Of course he didn't. Vince McMahon saw money in it, and Vince McMahon is a control freak, so Vince McMahon took complete control over The Fiend, and then the Fiend died in Saudi Arabia. That's what happened. He got bored with the gimmick. He's like, fuck this shit. You're not going to give me complete creative control? I'm going to fucking kill it because I'm Vince McMahon. You don't think that you guys are susceptible to that type of behavior? You got another thing coming, $0. I'll tell you that right now. So yes, fans are concerned. The concern for Hit Row should be taken as a compliment because we actually fucking like you. That's the problem. We don't want you to go the same way as everybody else that was skilled from NXT to the main roster. And Triple H, this is a Triple H project. This was one of the last things that Triple H had his hand in, just like Bronson Reed. What happened to him, right? Triple H saw the release of Bronson Reed and okayed it? Yeah, sure he did. Sure he did. Triple H is constantly being punished. It doesn't matter who is right-hand men of Triple H. It doesn't matter. You are all prone to punishment. So being that this is not the real reason why they got called up, but this is definitely an aspect, a factor in it. They were definitely right-hand men of Triple H. This is a Triple H project. It almost seems to me, and the going theme is, and we've seen it before because everybody before them has died, most of them anyway, Hit Row may be on the main roster to be treated as a scapegoat for Triple H's failures. If you really want to look at it that way, I would not be surprised by that. But Top Dollar responded to a fan on Twitter over the weekend, noting that they will not be scripted. He also wants fans to not compare Hit Row to other people who couldn't transition to the main roster. Yeah, you better slow your roll before you start talking about transitioning to the main roster. You got a long way to go before you prove to anybody that you can transition to the main roster. Hit Row is going to wrap up their feud with Legado del Fantasma on NXT 2.0 when Scott will defend the North American Championship finally against Santos Escobar. And finally, guys, Alberto del Retard says he's coming back to WWE. I don't know why we keep giving this man attention. I don't know why I'm even talking about this. This guy is a fucking blithering idiot. This guy is a wife beater, an abuser, a womanizer. Fuck this guy. Dave Meltzer reported in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter that Alberto Del Rio has been telling friends that he's going back to WWE when his legal situation clears up. Del Rio is accused of assaulting his ex-girlfriend, Paige. Alberto, he did abuse Paige, but I don't think this lawsuit has anything to do with Paige. I think it has to do with the woman after Paige. Tied her up, beat her up, choked her, kept her in her basement or his basement, or I don't know which basement it was, but he kept her in a basement, from what I read. Alberto has said similar things before, and it's likely that WWE has no intention of bringing him back. He said this before and they previously denied that there have been any talks to bring him back. Alberto is also involved in a legal case with Combate Americas MMA promotion. He sued them, claiming that they breached their contract with him. He was the public face of the company and then was dropped, but says he is owed $250,000 from his fight with Tito Ortiz. The lawsuit also claims that he was supposed to receive $10,000 for every appearance he made where he would do announcing or promote the brand. Sounds like a lot of money for Mr. Del Rio, which means it's probably a crock of shit. The company terminated their deal with him in 2019, but then they offered him the $250,000 for the fight with Ortiz on December 7th, 2019. Alberto says he has yet to be paid for the fight. He also says the company took over his social media accounts and he wants them back. I don't want him anywhere near social media. I don't give a fuck if he was paid or not. The guy is probably full of shit. He lied about everything. So what makes people believe he's being honest about what he's being paid and what he was going to do with the MMA promotion and how much money they were going to pay? $10,000 for every appearance? Who the fuck is Alberto Del Rio? Who wants to support a piece of shit like this? He's not coming back to the WWE. This has been a thing for the last couple of years. The guy likes to talk because he knows his brand is dead. He figures, let me throw Alberto Del Rio, let me throw my name around and include WWE in the same headline. Maybe Dave Meltzer will pick it up so people think I'm still alive and realize that I'm still around. Hey, look at me. Look at me. Sky sucks. He always sucked. He was as fucking sleep-inducing as the worst guy you could possibly imagine on WWE television. And I was a fan of him when we first seen him with Ricardo Rodriguez. He was actually something different. He was a Mexican JBL coming out with the fancy cars, and he looked like a fucking $1 million. He looked like he was ready for a world championship program right out of the gate. And then they stripped all that away from him. They took the cars away from him. They took the entrance away from him. They took Ricardo Rodriguez away from him. So he ended up being just a simple nobody. Then he died. Creatively dead. And then he went on to do God knows what. Then he beat Paige, and then he's out of WWE, Big Nose Triple H, all these Instagram videos talking shit about WWE. This guy is a complete disaster. Why would WWE ever want to do business with him again? This is not in the model of WWE right now to bring somebody back like Alberto Del Rio. They should be looking at building new talent, not bringing back talent that's going to make me fall asleep on an already dreadful Monday night. Keep this guy away. Go the fuck away. Nobody gives a shit about Alberto Del Rio. Guys, I'm getting out of here. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Go check out all the other videos that you might have missed on the channel. If you guys want to go check out my sponsor for today's show, once again, Audible, audibletrial.com/scripts. You guys sign up, 30 days free and 1 free audiobook of your choice. And I'll see you guys tonight live for Friday Night SmackDown. King of the Ring, Queen's Crown, AEW Rampage. Should be a mega super show tonight. Join me live tonight on YouTube right here on Off the Script. I'll see you guys tonight at 11:05. Until then, have a great Friday, and I'll see you tonight right here on OTS.